The gift from the stars. The space station hovered above Earth like a silver crown, shining in the dark sky. It had taken years to build, and Earth was proud of it, but pride didn't matter to the Galactic Union. When the Union accepted Earth, as a minor member, they didn't offer technology. They didn't offer real support. Instead, they gave Earth a gift, a broken-down cargo hauler, 2 centuries old. Its parts were rusted. Its engines barely worked. Its hull had been patched more times than anyone could count. The aliens said it was a symbolic gesture of unity. To Earth, it was mockery. General Holt stood on the viewing deck of the Earth Defense Assembly. He watched the alien ship get towed into orbit. His face was calm, but his eyes burned. "They think we're fools," he said quietly. Beside him, Captain Mira nodded. "They want us to stay weak. They laugh behind closed doors. They think we'll scrap it for metal," Holt said. He turned to Mira and smiled, a cold and knowing smile. "Let's show them what humans do with junk." The next week, the broken cargo hauler was moved to Earth's underground military shipyard. It was kept secret. Not even the Galactic Union knew what Earth planned. The hauler was stripped down to its bones. Engineers, scientists, and AI teams worked day and night. They studied the ship's systems, modified the frame, and added human tech. Earth had been behind the galaxy for decades, but humans were fast learners, fast adapters, and they had a reason now: revenge. Mira walked through the shipyard every day. She watched sparks fly as welders built new armor plates. She listened to the humming of new engines being tested. She heard whispers of the ship's name, Project Wraith. The name came from old Earth legends. A wraith moved in shadows. It struck, fast, and it never missed its target. Mira liked the name. Weeks turned into months. The wraith took shape. It looked nothing like the old hauler. Its design was sleek, sharp, and deadly. Its frame had layers of armor made from human-forged titanium. Its weapons were a mix of Earth's best and hacked alien tech: plasma lances, mass drivers, rail cannons, all silent, all hidden beneath armored panels. But the real power of the Wraith was its AI. Built by Earth's finest minds, it was faster, smarter, and more aggressive than anything the Union had seen. It didn't follow peace protocols. It didn't ask questions. It followed one rule: protect Earth at any cost. One night, Mira stood alone in the command center. Rain tapped softly on the windows above. She looked at the Wraith's blueprint glowing on the screen. "We didn't need their help," she whispered. "We needed their disrespect." Meanwhile, across the stars, the Galactic Union watched Earth with mild interest. The Council laughed at the junk ship they had sent. One diplomat joked, "Maybe they'll make a museum out of it." No one was ready for what was coming. In silence, in shadow, Earth was building its first real warship, not to explore, not to defend, but to remind the galaxy: humanity doesn't waste what it's given. We turn scrap into fear. Shadows in Orbit, 7970. Words third person, simple English. The hangar doors groaned open. From deep underground, the Wraith slowly rose through the launch tunnel, lifted by magnetic rails. It pierced the night sky like a silent spear. No one outside Earth's top defense command knew it even existed. In orbit, old satellites picked up the massive ship, but it wasn't registered. It wasn't supposed to be there. For a moment, even, Earth's civilian stations went silent, wondering if it was alien. But those in command already knew. The Wraith had finally launched. Captain Mira stood on the bridge of the Wraith, her hands resting behind her back. The crew worked in silence, but their eyes were full of fire. These weren't just soldiers, these were engineers, hackers, survivors. People who had watched Earth get mocked for decades. They knew this ship wasn't just a weapon. It was proof. "Run. Full systems check," Mira said. The AI responded instantly, its voice calm and sharp. "Weapons ready, shields full, engines nominal, cloaking operational." "Cloaking?" one officer whispered. "We actually cracked it?" Mira gave a slight smile. "They hid that tech from us. We took it anyway." The Wraith moved like a ghost. Even the Galactic Union's detection grids couldn't find it. It orbited Jupiter, then Saturn, then slid into deep space to test its weapons. No one knew. No one suspected. In a dark asteroid field, the Wraith targeted a group of decommissioned satellites set up for target practice. Mira nodded. Fire. In 1 second, 30 projectiles vanished from existence. Rail cannons punched holes through 6-meter-thick rock like paper. Plasma beams melted armor faster than any standard Union weapons. The Wraith didn't just attack, it erased. Back. On Earth, General Holt received the report. He sat in silence for a moment, then chuckled to himself. They gave us junk, he whispered. Now we're gods of war. He stood and looked out the window toward the stars. It's time they saw what Earth really is. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, tensions were rising. A small mining colony on the edge of Union space had been attacked by raiders. The colony's distress call went unanswered. The Union didn't care. It wasn't a high-value world. But Earth heard it. They didn't ask permission. They sent the Wraith. Mira stood at the helm as the Wraith entered the colony's system. The planet below was burning. Smoke curled into space. The raiders, a mix of outlaw species, circled in stolen ships, attacking anything that moved. The Wraith uncloaked just once, long enough to be seen. The raiders paused, then screamed. In the next 60 seconds, 7 ships exploded. The rest tried to flee, but the Wraith moved faster than they could react. Its AI targeted weak spots, cut engines, destroyed weapons. By the time it was done, space was silent again. The colonists looked up from the ground. They had no idea who saved them, but they saw the warship, black, silent, terrifying. Painted on its hull in white were just 2 words, Forged Earth. Mira turned to her crew. No need to announce ourselves. Let them wonder. The Wraith vanished once more, disappearing into the void. Back at the Galactic Council, whispers began, a fleet of raiders. Gone. A mysterious ship. Invisible. Some said it was a myth. Others claimed Earth had finally done the impossible. But no one could prove it. They didn't know its name. They didn't know where it came from. But the galaxy now had one shared fear. A phantom warship. And the question on everyone's mind, what else had Earth been building in silence? Whispers across the stars, 7 on 70 words, third-person simple English. News traveled fast in the galaxy, but truth traveled slowly. Rumors filled the Galactic Council halls. One story kept spreading from station to station. A black ship, silent and deadly, had appeared from nowhere and wiped out an entire pirate fleet. Some said it was a Union prototype gone rogue. Others believed it was a mercenary warship from a forgotten empire. But a few whispers pointed toward Earth. In the deep chambers of the Galactic Council, a meeting was called. Representatives of the major species sat in a vast circle. The leader, a tall, pale alien with silver eyes, raised a hand to quiet the crowd. There is a pattern, he said. 3 attacks stopped within days. No distress calls. No survivors among the attackers. Only one thing connects them. Eyewitness reports of a black ship. A diplomat from the Theral system narrowed his eyes. We gave Earth an old hauler, not a warship. Yes? Another replied with a smirk. And humans built something from it. They all fell silent. Back on Earth, Mira read the Council's latest transmission. They wanted answers, but Earth didn't send any. In the command center of the Wraith, Mira stood with her crew. They're starting to notice, her first officer said. Let them, Mira replied. They should be afraid. The crew chuckled, but there was tension in the air. They all knew what was coming. Sooner or later, the Union would come knocking. The Wraith's next mission wasn't a rescue. It was a message. A powerful Union outpost had long ignored Earth's requests for fair trade. They blocked Earth's cargo, lanes overcharged for energy, and threatened human vessels with fines and inspections. It was time for that to stop. The Wraith appeared near the outpost without warning. Its cloaking dropped just long enough to be seen on all sensors. The Union guards panicked. Ships scrambled. Weapons charged, but no shots were fired. The Wraith didn't attack. It simply hovered in place, watching. And then it vanished again. Hours. Later, all Union forces left the area. Earth's cargo lanes opened. No one gave orders. No paperwork was filed. The message was clear. Earth had power now. Across colonies and fringe worlds, humans held their heads higher. Traders shared stories of the ghost ship. Children on mining planets drew pictures of a dark warship with glowing engines. Even alien smugglers began avoiding Earth's space. They weren't afraid of Earth's armies. They were afraid of one ship. Inside the Wraith, Mira stood in the engine bay, looking up at the ship's massive core. Her hand ran along the metal. "We built this because they laughed at us," she said. An engineer beside her nodded. "They called us backward, primitive. But this ship makes them pause." Mira looked around. "It's not just a ship, it's a warning." Back in the council, the fear turned to anger. "They've gone too far," one leader growled. "They humiliate us with this ghost. They built it in secret. That breaks every Union law." "And yet," said another softly, "none of us can stop them." That silence cut deeper than any weapon. The council voted. An inspection fleet would go to Earth. Not to fight. To see. They had to know how far Earth had come. But what they didn't understand was that by the time they arrived, it would already be too late. Because Earth was not building just one Wraith. They were building more. The fleet that saw too much, 770 words, third person, simple English. The Galactic Union sent a fleet of 12 ships toward Earth. They weren't warships, not officially. They were inspection vessels, but each one was armed, just in case. The council said it was a peaceful visit, but everyone knew what it really was. A warning. Inside the lead ship, Admiral Rovan, a veteran of many battles, stared at the holographic map. Earth was marked as a simple blue dot. "Primitive planet," he muttered. "One clever ship doesn't change that." His officers laughed quietly, but as the ships neared Earth's solar system, the laughter faded. The scanners began showing strange readings, energy spikes, shadow signatures, distorted signals. One by one, the ships began to lose satellite contact. Then the outermost scout ship disappeared. Back on Earth, General Holt stood beside Mira in the underground command center. "They're almost here," Holt said. Mira nodded. "They're not ready." The Wraith was already in position, waiting in the shadow of Neptune. But it wasn't alone. 2 more ships hovered nearby, smaller than the Wraith, but just as deadly. They were the first of Earth's next generation. Project Phantom and Project Fang. Earth had used the same scrap blueprint, but now it had perfected the design. "We don't want war," Holt said. "But we won't kneel." Mira turned to the console. "Time to introduce ourselves properly." As the Union fleet passed Mars, a message appeared on all their screens. "Turn back. This is Earth space. You are not welcome," Rovan scoffed. "Ignore it. Keep moving." Moments later, alarms rang out across the fleet. 3 ships decloaked, Wraith, Phantom, and Fang, black. Silent, powerful. They didn't fire. They didn't move. They simply appeared. The Union ships froze. "Stand by," Rovan ordered, his voice trembling. One officer whispered, "Sir, that's not a warship. That's a monster." The Wraith sent one more message. "This is your only warning." Rovan hesitated. For the first time in his life, he didn't know what to do. He had fought pirates, invaders, and traitors, but this was different. These weren't just ships. They were statements. Proof that Earth wasn't just catching up. Earth had surpassed them. Rovan turned to his crew. "Signal the council. Tell them, Earth is no longer under us." Back on Earth, Mira stood silently as the Union fleet turned around. No shots were fired. No threats were made. But the message was received across every channel in the galaxy. Earth was untouchable now. In colonies across the stars, alien leaders debated what to do next. Should they isolate Earth? Should they try to make peace? Should they prepare for war? But the people, the citizens, they cheered for Earth. They saw humans as something new, not conquerors, not victims, but something terrifying and respected. A species that turned scrap into dominance. At night in the Earth Defense Assembly, Holt and Mira looked up at the stars. "They won't try that again," Holt said. "No," Mira agreed, "but they'll start watching us closer. Let them see everything. It won't matter anymore." Mira smiled. The age of fear is over. Earth doesn't need permission anymore. Above them in orbit, the Wraith drifted quietly, cloaked once again. But this time, it wasn't hiding. It was waiting. What Earth built in secret, 770 words, third-person simple English. Deep below the Rocky Mountains, far from any city or satellite, a hidden complex buzzed with energy. Engineers moved between glowing screens, silent machines and large metal chambers. The Wraith was only the beginning. Now, Earth's Black Ship program had gone public, at least within its highest command. The room pulsed with quiet power. A new warship was almost complete. It was larger than the Wraith, faster than Phantom, deadlier than Fang. Its name was Vengeance. Captain Mira walked alongside General Holt through the dim halls of the facility. On the far wall, a massive window looked out into the construction bay. There it was, Vengeance, its hull black as night, its armor shaped for speed and fear. "How soon?" Holt asked. 5 days, Mira replied. "The new reactor is almost online. The adaptive shields are working better than expected, and the AI is ready." "Has it chosen a voice?" Mira smiled. "It chose silence." Holt raised an eyebrow. "Silent AI. It speaks only when needed. No emotions. Just one purpose. Protect Earth." Holt nodded slowly. "Good." Meanwhile, in distant space, the Galactic Council had split. Some wanted peace, some wanted war, others wanted to cut all contact with Earth entirely. But one thing was certain. They all feared what humanity might reveal next. A transmission had been leaked. A blurry video taken from a mining drone showed the Wraith uncloaking briefly before erasing a pirate vessel with one shot. No warning, no sound, just destruction. Across alien networks, the clip went viral. The title read, "The Ghost from Earth, What Are They Building?" In the outer colonies, humans became symbols of strength. Alien children played Wraith versus Raiders. Merchants carried small ship tokens shaped like the Wraith for good luck. And smugglers avoided Earth's borders entirely. Even without showing their fleet, Earth had changed the galaxy's balance. On the third moon of a gas giant, Union scientists held a secret meeting. A researcher named Varen stood before a council of scientists. He pointed to holograms of Earth's weapon signatures, cloaking fields, and reactor scans. "They reverse-engineered everything," he said, from a junk hauler. "How?" one asked. "They're not just engineers, they're improvisers. Every failure we handed them, they turned into strength." Varen sighed. "We didn't slow them down. We gave them the challenge they needed." Back at the Earth Defense Assembly, a council of human leaders watched a test. In space above Earth, the Vengeance hovered in orbit, cloaked but broadcasting to a private channel. General Holt stepped forward and gave the order. "Test fire." Minimal charge. Vengeance's cannon lit up once. One shot fired across the solar system. A dead asteroid the size of a small island shattered into dust. The room fell silent. Mira turned to the council. If this ship had existed a year ago, no one would have dared speak against Earth. The lead diplomat asked softly. "And now?" "Now," Mira said, "they will speak carefully." The next day, Earth sent its first direct message to the Galactic Council. Not angry, not demanding. Just clear. Earth will no longer be ignored. We do not seek war. But we will not kneel. Our silence was our strength. You gave us scrap. We gave you fear. For the first time in the Council's history, every seat remained quiet for a full minute. No replies, no denials, just quiet. Because deep down they all knew they created this. Back in orbit, the Vengeance and the Wraith drifted side by side. Two black shapes against a sea of stars. Earth no longer feared being left behind. Now the galaxy feared being left behind by Earth. Earth's warning echoes, 770 words, third-person simple English. Far from Earth, in a neutral zone known as the O drift belt, 5 alien freighters were ambushed by a fleet of rogue warships. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and too far from Union patrols to be rescued. Their distress call was simple: help, anyone. No Union ships responded, but one human vessel heard it: the Wraith. Mira stood on the Wraith's bridge as the message came through. Her crew looked to her. "Coordinates?" she asked. "Locked," replied the navigator. "Engage." In seconds, the Wraith tore through subspace, leaving only ripples behind. In the drift belt, the rogue ships closed in on the helpless freighters. Weapons charged, shields flared, then space shimmered. The Wraith dropped out of cloak, right behind them. The pirates laughed at first, then the Wraith opened fire. 1 second. 3 ships gone. 5 seconds. The rest tried to flee. 10 seconds. No pirate ships remained. The freighters floated quietly, untouched. A message appeared on their screens. "You're safe now. Courtesy of Earth." Then the Wraith vanished again like a ghost swallowed by the stars. The freighter captains spread the word. Across stations, spaceports, and forums, stories grew louder. The Union forgets us. Earth protects us. The black ships don't ask. They act. One ship saved us, one. In the Galactic Council, panic began to grow. A quiet voice among them, Counselor Rin, said, "We should have treated Earth as an ally, not a pawn." Others still clung to pride. "Earth is showing off. They think they're better than us?" Counselor Rin answered, "No. They're proving they already are." Earth's Defense Council met once more. Mira presented a new report. Wraith has completed 22 missions, 0 casualties, 0 failures. General Holt nodded. And Vengeance? Fully operational. Stealth systems are unmatched. She's waiting for her maiden mission. Good, Holt said. Because something's coming. He showed the room a hologram. Union Fleet Omega, 20 battleships, set to patrol near Earth's borders. Just routine, they claimed. Everyone knew better. "They're testing us," Holt said. "They'll regret that," Mira replied. Back, in deep space, a lone human scout ship picked up strange chatter, encrypted transmissions, strange language. But one word was repeated in the alien dialect: Earth. The scout sent the recording home. Earth's analysts cracked it within a day. It wasn't the Union. It was a third party, unknown, unseen, watching, planning. Mira reviewed the report with narrowed eyes. Something's moving behind the Union. Another empire? Holt asked. Or something worse? Something that waited for the Union and Earth to weaken each other. He nodded slowly. Then we need to be ready. That night, aboard the Vengeance, Mira stood alone on the bridge. The stars stretched endlessly before her. "We were supposed to be the small ones," she whispered. "We were supposed to follow." But Earth had changed the rules. They were no longer just part of the galaxy. They were becoming its shadow, its sword, and maybe its last hope. A final message was sent to the Union, simple, chilling. "If you bring fleets to our border, we will not run. If you fire, we will erase you. But if you call for help, we will come, because we are human, and we built strength from the scrap you gave us." The Wraith, Vengeance, Phantom, and Fang activated full stealth protocols. Earth's black fleet was ready, and soon, the entire galaxy would learn fear is a weapon, and Earth forged it in silence. Humanity's Black Fleet. Unleashed, 770 words, third person, simple English. The stars were calm, but Earth was not. Inside the Earth Defense Assembly, red lights glowed. Dozens of screens showed the same report. Union Fleet Omega had entered the outer edge of the solar system, 20 warships armed, uninvited. General Holt stood at the center table, his jaw tight. Around him were Earth's best minds, engineers, generals, and leaders. "They're not here for talks," Holt said. "They're here to intimidate." Captain Mira's face appeared on the central screen. She was aboard the Vengeance already, in position behind Saturn. "What are your orders, sir?" she asked calmly. Holt's reply was simple. "Show them we are not afraid." In deep space, Union Admiral Core sat in his command chair, eyes locked on the data streaming in. Still no sign of Earth's ships. "Just empty space," he muttered. But his second-in-command frowned. "Sir, our long-range sensors. Something's wrong. Speak clearly. There's static, shadows moving, then gone." Admiral Core's eyes narrowed. "They're here." Suddenly, all screens on every Union ship turned black. A single message appeared in glowing white letters. "You are surrounded. Leave now." Panic spread across the fleet, then they saw them. Uncloaking all at once, the Wraith, Vengeance, Phantom, and Fang appeared in a perfect formation, like a black wall between Earth and the Union fleet. But that wasn't all. Behind them, 5 more ships appeared, sleek, dark, deadly. New names: Saber, Widow, Iron Hand, Torch, and Echo. Earth had built an entire fleet, not just one warship, not just a threat, an unstoppable force. Admiral Core's voice trembled. "Stand down. Power down weapons." His crew stared at him. "But sir, they haven't fired." "And if they do," Core said softly, "we won't survive the first second." Back on Earth, Holt watched the scene unfold in real time. He turned to the civilian council. "They won't fire," he said. "They came to test our will. And now they've seen it," said the lead diplomat. "What if they return with more?" "Then we'll build more too," Holt replied. "Faster than they can imagine." The Union fleet turned around. No war. No battle. Just fear. The black ships didn't move. They didn't follow. They didn't celebrate. They waited, silent and patient, watching until the Union ships disappeared beyond Pluto. Only then did the fleet return to cloak. Across the galaxy, the reaction was immediate. Some called Earth dangerous. Others called them protectors. But none dared attack again. The black ships became legend. People no longer joked about humanity. Now they whispered about them. Don't cross Earth. They turned scrap into power. They built shadows from fire. One ship changed everything. Now they have 9. Inside the Vengeance, Mira stood with her crew. She stared out at the stars, arms crossed behind her back. "We were given rust," she said. "We built wrath." She turned to the crew. "This is not the end. It's the beginning." A young officer asked, "What's next, Captain?" Mira smiled. "Now we protect the ones they ignore. We stand between the innocent and the arrogant. We don't need flags, just purpose." In deep space, far from Earth or the Union, a new signal appeared. Unknown, unreadable. But the message was clear. Something ancient had awoken. Something far worse than the Union. Earth's black fleet was the only thing standing in its way, and as darkness moved across the stars, the galaxy finally understood. They gave humanity scrap. And Earth answered with fear. Now, they would answer with fire.